Hi and welcome to my channel. So there is a new announcement from the NHS, which is the National Health Service in England. Basically, they have said that they're able and they will now be taking over the payment of bills for some thousands of people living in the UK. So I thought, look, why not share with you? Because if you're somebody who is entitled to this, then obviously you can get that support that you rightfully deserve. Because look, bills in the UK are incredibly high. So any support that you can get obviously is welcome. And the NHS obviously is going to be paying these bills for you just so that that can kind of enhance your quality of life, and it stops people from coming into hospital, so that you stay in your own home nice and warm, and then that obviously stops you from being admitted in hospital, which ultimately is going to cost a lot more, not only in terms of financial commitments that the NHS will have to do, but also in terms of the pain and suffering that the patient is going to have. So this is what I'm going to be talking about in this video today. So I'm going to be talking about who is entitled to this, how do you claim it, what is involved, and how do you know whether you're eligible or not. So if you're new to my channel, obviously you're welcome. If you're a returning subscriber, again, appreciate your time, and do consider subscribing to the channel, because I'm going to be starting this new health corner on this channel where I'm going to be talking about just some health related things, once in a while, things like this particular aspect I'm going to be talking about that are relevant and that some people may benefit from. So I'm an advanced nurse practitioner myself, so I work for the NHS, and that's why I'm keen on all these health related updates and changes. Basically, what the NHS has said is that you're going to be getting your bills paid. This is called the Warm Home Prescription Scheme. This was trialed, last year, end of last year it was, in Gloucestershire, and there's been a huge success from this particular scheme. And because of the success and the interest from other people, the government has decided to extend and expand the scheme so that many more people in the UK have access, to this particular scheme and to get their bills paid for by the NHS. So again, that's what it's called. If you want to read more about it, Warm Home Prescription Scheme, and this is funded, like I've said, directly by the NHS through the Housing Support Fund. So that is the the government department that actually funds this particular aspect of healthcare. So now we're going to be talking about who is actually entitled to get their bills paid for by the NHS. Obviously, there are some conditions, because nobody, somebody's not just going to walk in and be like, hey, I need my bills paid, and then they get paid for you. No. So the first condition is that if you have a lung condition, then you may be entitled. For example, some people have asthma, some people have COPD, some people have emphysema. For example, if you have asthma and you're struggling to pay your bills, you can easily get sick. And if you do get sick with asthma, not only is it dangerous for your own health, but you can actually end up being admitted. And look, let me just give you some staggering data here, because the NHS has actually announced that what has prompted them to bring about this scheme is because every single winter in the UK, in fact in England, about 10,000 people die because of cold homes, which means that these are not people that are dying because they have got any sort of a particular condition, but it's simply because they are sat in a house that is cold. And because of that, 10,000 people die every winter. So this is not like 10,000 people dying over the course of the year, but just over the course of the few months during the winter period. So 10,000 people dying, that is a lot. That is a staggering statistic. And this particular period as well, it cost the NHS around £860 million in treatment for conditions that people have had due to cold. So you can see why it's become such a public health priority for the NHS to introduce a scheme like this, not only to support people to have better health at home, but also to try and save money. Because as we know, money is not endless. Like the Prime Minister said when nurses were asking for pay, he was like, I don't have the magic wand, to get extra pay for nurses. It's the same thing. So in the Prime Minister's own words, by the way. So obviously, that is why this has come about. And obviously, if you also think about children, for example, that have long-term conditions, that have disabilities, that need to be on a ventilator maybe 24/7, or at night time, or in the daytime, and oxygen 24/7, it costs those parents over £1,000 per month in bills only. Imagine as a parent having to pay bills to keep your child alive over £1,000 every single month. That is a lot of money. So the government has introduced it so that people like this can be supported. They can have access to all of, this support to be able to keep themselves alive and keep their, loved ones alive. So again, if you've got any of these lung conditions, you need to get to see your GP, that's your doctor, so that you can get assessed. And if you're entitled, then you get that prescription and you'll be entitled to obviously free heating. Basically, you get vouchers for it and you don't have to pay any bills at all, and everything is covered for, is paid for by the government, which I think it's really great. So the second condition obviously is that if you're over the age of 60, you should be struggling to pay your bills. So if you're older than 60 years old and you're financially just struggling to pay your bills, you will be entitled as well through this scheme, which means you can get a prescription and have to pay no bills whatsoever and have completely free heating and everything in your house, which again is amazing. So this one is mainly due to age. So if you're over the age of 60 and struggling financially, you're going to be entitled. So the next point is if you're below the age of 60, and you as somebody who is entitled to those free NHS prescriptions, then also you can benefit from this scheme. There are some people here in the UK that are entitled to free prescriptions. Those people will also be entitled to this, new bill payment scheme. So again, if you're entitled, you want to check it out, you want to see your GP, you want to have that conversation with them so that you can get the support that you rightfully deserve and you're not struggling alone. Again, social prescribing is something that has been in the UK now for a while. As a nurse prescriber myself, is something that I really do appreciate, because you can get prescriptions for all sorts of things. For example, you can get exercise, you can get prescriptions for exercise if you're overweight, for example. You can get prescriptions for gym memberships, you can get prescriptions for fishing. There's all sorts of things that you can get prescriptions for. So if you're struggling financially or you're just trying to improve your health, then again, it's always worth talking to a healthcare professional to find out what you can have in order to support you to move closer to a state of better health. Because ultimately, not only is it going to be more risky for you to carry on that way, but actually you're going to cost the government more money in treatment when you fall sick. So again, I think this is really about moving away from treatment to prevention. Because in the UK over the years, the NHS plan, which I think that's why has made the NHS to really struggle a lot and is struggling a lot right now, is because there is barely any plan at all when it comes to prevention. Most of what is happening is really about treatment. And I think there's that shift now in the narrative from, look, we're here to treat you, to we're here to prevent things before they actually happen or escalate, or worse still, actually get worse and you deteriorate. So that's the objective here. So like we've said, if you're somebody who is on the ventilator, you need 24/7 oxygen, there are many people who are in these situations who have long-term conditions that they may likely not, fully recover from, and that, are there to benefit from this particular system, and this particular scheme. So you do want to put yourself forward. If you know anybody that can benefit from this, again, by all means, do share this with them, share the information with them so that they can apply, and get help, get the support that they need with their bills, so that, it takes off that extra pressure and they don't have to sit in a cold home and end up, being more unwell. There are also other conditions, but you just have to assess and see, get assessed by your doctor and see whether you'd be eligible. Because, I think not only is it just going to be specific illnesses or diseases or conditions, but I think some people will be entitled to, depending on their specific circumstances. So you do want to talk to your doctor about it so that they can advise you further on what you can have, because I know people that have got arthritis, for example, and in the cold, in the winter seasons, for example, or anytime that is cold, they are like stiff, in pain, in so much pain. But if the house is warm or there's warm weather outside, they feel so much better, they feel more alive. So again, people like this would benefit more from having, their bills paid for so that they can warm the house, be healthy without worrying, about the bills. But obviously, like I've said, you need to get assessed by your doctor. I hope that you found this helpful. Again, if you haven't subscribed to the channel, you do want to consider subscribing, because, I'm going to be doing this health corner, like I've said, where I'll be sharing relevant information about healthcare, in the UK, how you can access, certain facilities, certain services, and how you can just support yourself so that you can thrive, get to improve your health and get to take advantage of the support that is out there to ensure that, you are really living the best life that you can possibly live. Again, thank you. My name is Melvis. I work as an advanced nurse practitioner for the NHS. And obviously, if you've got any questions, you do want to leave them in the comment section below, and I'll join you there and just answer those questions. Again, thank you. Keep watching the videos, and I'll see you in the next video. Bye for now.